So who's been a naughty boy then with BCA? Since I put that thumbnail up on my socials, it's created a huge amount of interest. And just on Twitter alone, it's been seen over 21,000 times in the last 24 hours. So my video or my thumbnail about being silenced has certainly struck a chord with a lot of you, my followers. First of all, thank you for watching. Let me explain. So with BCA more than likely watching this video, I'd just like to state the following. Okay, so I started Eco Cars back in 2004, and since 2010 I've sold and supplied just purely electric vehicles, and in the early days plug-in hybrids as well. But I've sold my business. In April 2021 I sold it to Reflex, which is owned by Aquaterra Limited. So I have no financial say, interest. I don't earn anything from Eco Cars any longer. As part of the sale, I stay on as a voluntary advisor, as a consultant, because I want to see Eco Cars to continue to expand and grow and be successful. So for the benefit of British car auctions, I have no financial say whatsoever. Now, the directors of Eco Cars did get in touch to say that BCA, bless them, had been in touch and they were none too happy with me doing live streams. Anyway, so let's cut to the chase. If you stay to the end, I will tell you what I'm going to do about this situation, whether I'm going to continue doing live streams or not. But from a BCA point of view, I will no longer be broadcasting their auctions, because the last thing I want to do, I don't want Eco Cars to lose an account with BCA. But why don't you want that, Jonathan? You know, they've been really horrible to you and they're silencing you, etc., etc. Well, let's just look at British car auctions. They are part of a massive group, the Constellation Group. So Constellation are a big umbrella organisation that have lots of subsidiaries, and one of them is British Car Auctions, which is Europe's biggest car auction website setup. They're the biggest in Europe, and in the UK alone, 50% of all vehicles that go through an auction, 50%, over half, all go through BCA. So they are a massive player in the used car market for the trade. They also own WeBuyAnyCar.com, which is no great surprise. I often hear people say, oh, WeBuyAnyCar.com only offered me, I don't know, £5,000 for my £10,000 Nissan Leaf. Oh yeah, if they don't want your car, they'll offer you a silly figure. So just bear that in mind. WeBuyAnyCar.com are owned by the same group that own British Car Auctions. They also own Cinch, Constellation Group. They also own Elmo, the subscription service, which is sort of a bit iffy at the moment. So that might remain over the next 12 months, it might not. But they also own the Marshall Motor Group. So a massive conglomeration of automotive industry covering all facets, from auctions, buying off the public, retailing to order, retailing from a website and delivering to your door, which is what I've been doing since 2011, 2012. Car Next, part of Lease Plan, they own that as well, the Constellation Group. So you start to get a picture that BCA are part of a massive group. So they're all connected. So, you know, let's be honest, they're all looking after each other's best interests within that group. So Eco Cars has always offered a buy-to-order service, just helping people to have the choice. Now, I used to stock vehicles. I might have 3 or 4 on at my property here at home. I didn't have the overheads that a normal garage has, such as rates, rent, lighting, heating, staff, insurances. Those big, fancy, beautiful glass-looking showrooms cost a huge amount of money to run and staff and heat, etc., etc. So they have to earn a larger margin off the sale of their used vehicles they buy at auction than I do. I can cut my cloth accordingly. I owned my house. Well, I own my house now, but when I had eco cars, my overheads were basically paying the council tax to live in my house and feeding myself and my wife and my dog. So my overheads were ridiculously low, which meant I could just earn £200 or £300 buying toward an EV for someone and pass on the savings, because that's what I wanted to do. And at the time when I started doing that, no one else was really doing it. But all the other big boys have cottoned on to that. Hence, we've got Cinch and all the other players. Kazoo, which is in a really difficult position at the minute, and that's likely not to survive the next 12 months for a variety of reasons. But Cinch is still a big player again under this Constellation group. So why has BCA been so upset with me doing live streams? Well, let's just have a look at some of the comments that people have sent in via X, Twitter, via X, and also Facebook, and also the community post I put here on YouTube. The EV Puzzle, Nigel, great YouTube channel. When I put the post up about being silenced, he said this: the car industry has such a closed, secretive side, values especially. Sadly, it makes the industry untrustable. Being open and honest isn't their way. So sorry to hear that you've been silenced. I'm doing this for the benefit of BCA if they're listening or watching. Eugene has said, you've got to wonder why BCA would object. It shouldn't make a difference to them if 10 EVs go to 10 individuals via eco cars, or if they go to one dealer. If anything, the model you've set up actually expands the potential pool of customers for BCA and creates auction demand. Pat Pong said, we all like to get educated watching how car auctions work, and I see no problem. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Pat, for helping people find nice EV cars for a fair price. And your business makes some money as well, a win-win. Thank you for your support. Hugh M9 says, the old motor trade doesn't like Joe Public seeing its secrets. Could be right. Andrew Taylor, keep up the good work, Jonathan. Thank you, Andrew. Hales6677. Oh, really? I've never seen a car auction before, and it was fascinating and informative. Thank you. I hope it's sorted out before the next one. My husband and I were enthralled on how quickly the auctioneer spoke and how quickly they sold. Cheap too. Another one here, Abby Tech. I'm guessing they're not too happy about the live streaming of their auctions, which irritates me. I'm fed up of massive corporations whining and going after people like you who are actually doing them free good publicity. I'm guessing they're probably unhappy because you're showing information in your streams relating to pricing of vehicles and their market values, etc., that are normally only available to those registered as sellers on BCA. Looking forward to finding out the details of this in your next video. Thank you very much. Chris Bob. Surprised you lasted this long, to be honest. It's very much a dark, underworld, closed shop. A way of guaranteeing income for dealers to buy low and sell higher. And that's the way they want it to stay. So that has been from the public. But I've also had a couple of messages from other fellow car dealers. So because I want to be balanced. And they have got points as well as what I mentioned earlier about overheads that a normal car dealer has. So the next one is from Simon Acton of Next Eco Car. He's a dealer in Ireland. Don't disagree with what you've been doing, but I was surprised BCA allowed it. It exposes what trade can buy, for which leads to questions about dealers who do generally have significant other costs beyond the vehicle purchase price. And that's what I was saying earlier, Simon. You do have substantial costs if you're not operating on a hand-to-mouth basis or buy-to-order. If you want to buy cars and stock them, you've got more costs. It says, depends if you believe your chosen dealer adds value. So he makes a really, really good point. See, people still like the traditional car dealer. They like to walk into the showroom, have the bunch of flowers and the nice coffee, see the car, polished and just absolutely immaculate, jump in it and drive off. That's great. It's absolutely fantastic. What I've always wanted to do is provide people with a choice. If you don't mind receiving your car off the back of a trailer, if you don't mind receiving it dirty, then this is what you can have and this is the amount you can save. It's not for everybody, but it's just choice, and it's just choice I wanted to give. Again, X, the UK Electric Vehicle Owners Group, love this on Facebook and X. That's run by my great friend Gary of Cambridge Motors. Gary is a top geezer. Met him several times. He's brilliant. Anyway, Gary said this: why not buy and just advertise them anyway? My pockets aren't as deep as yours, Gary. I eat too much lemon drizzle cake. You have a big following and many like myself trust you. Gary, you are a gentleman. But just to reiterate what I've been saying, Gary, I just want to do things slightly differently. I can't afford to buy 20, 30 cars. My pockets are not as deep as yours, my friend. And it's worked for you for decades. I know it's a family business, Cambridge Motors. But for me, just buying to order has been the name of the game for me, and people like it. So again, it's just choice. But it's nice to get some views from the car trade as well as the public. So the car trade is still perceived as an Arthur Daly type, Del Boy type business where everything's a little bit secretive. And this has led the public to think that, car dealers just fleece people, and that's difficult to get away from. And videos such as this about BCA telling me not to video their live streams doesn't really help, does it? It just adds weight to that fear that it's a closed shop. See, the whole motor trade is in a state of flux. It's in a state of change. Most motor dealers don't know where the industry's going. Is it going to be hybrid? Is it going to be hydrogen? Although hydrogen's really fallen off the radar, which I personally believe is a good thing when it comes to passenger vehicles. The government will keep moving the goalposts as to when no new ICE vehicles are going to be sold. So there's just this uncertainty across the whole motor industry. So dealers just don't know which way to go. So there's a massive change is taking place. And I think this state of flux and uncertainty will carry on for the next 5 or 10 years. So why has BCA told me not to do any more live streams? Maybe it's because of the other interested parties within the Constellation group. Maybe a big EV dealer has leaned on them and pointed it out. Thing is, I'm not the only YouTuber that has done this type of video where you just broadcast how much vehicles have cost at a BCA sale. Other YouTubers have done it and I watch them as well. So I'm not the only one. So maybe they're having a purge on all YouTubers. I don't know. Maybe they're looking after Cinch, their partner. I don't know. And maybe they're looking after the Marshall Group, which cover dozens of brands. I don't know. So finally, Mr. BCA, if you're watching, or Mrs. BCA, I will not do any more BCA live streams or videos about EV only sales. It was nice to do it because you would, once every Tuesday, you'd have a whole section, probably an hour and a half, of just pure EVs. So it was really easy for me to edit and put together, 1.5, 2 hours of pure EVs going under the hammer. But I will not do that anymore, okay? But what I will do is pick out sales from Aston Barclay or Shoreham or any of the other auction houses that Eco Cars has got accounts with, just to show what the recent prices are and what values are doing. So I hope that clears it up. A little bit disappointed I can't do BCA, but not really. I've always said they're not the most favourite auction house out there. I've always favoured the others because sometimes BCA gets so big and you don't quite get that customer service that the other auction houses will give you. So thanks for watching. I will continue to do videos about EV sales and what I think are bargains and what are not. Maybe not a live stream because it's just difficult to sort of put that together in a good way if the EVs have ICE cars in between. But I'll see what I can do. So the first week in every month, I will do a live stream. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and all that malarkey. And I'll see you early March with a video about the latest values of EVs at a trade auction.